Um, and probably usually twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays. And it's been effective. I have a lot of people. Just to give you an example, over the last 2 years, we've reached about 2 million people. And we've got I retarget them. So I'm retargeting about 270,000 people every week that have either liked my post, commented on my post, or shared my post, or watched it for at least 25% of the, if most of the time I post a video. So they've watched the video at least 25% of it. So I'm retargeting about 280,000 people a week that have raised their hand and shown interest.
And what kind of budget is that?
It's I spend $50 a week, really. It's and I spread the $50 over 2 weeks. So
pretty nominal. Okay.
So it's $200 $200 a month. I mean, it's nothing, but to retarget those people, it's getting right in front of people that have shown that they're interested in real estate.
So, first of all, I love this, Bruce. If we were to shift this and say we're brand new agents, we're all brand new agents, and we have zero money, how would what's the best way to get organic and just start?
I think you guys, you do a good job, Joey. Damien does a great job. Sorry if I'm not on everybody else's pages here or see a lot, but I think organic leads, you have to do business and you have to be personal. People need to see you're a real person too, right? So it can't just be all business down your throat, and it can't be all I'm getting crazy at the bar, right? I mean, you got to have a good mix of both, and people want to know who you are.
Well, because I think one of the mistakes people make, I'm just posting a question, how do you balance personal and professional content to build trust while still driving leads? Because here's where I don't know about you guys, but I have lately, I use the unfollow button a lot. Like if I start seeing people just like constantly posting, they're on my timeline, and you don't mix in some personal stuff, people can really easily unfollow you. And that's a very easy button to click and be like unfollow, or that little X that says mute them for 30 days. And so you really got to be careful. I mean, one side of things, of course, Bruce, you hit it home, is the paid targeting, which is fantastic. But if you want to go organic and just start by posting, because how many people on here, you just like raise your hand, post more than, let's just say, once a week or twice a week? Let's say, who posts more than twice a week? Put your hand up. Okay, what about like are people posting once a day? Post your hand up. Okay, so Bruce, couple, Matt. Okay, cool. So like, are you guys seeing a ratio where, there's a lot of real estate agents post a ton of business stuff, which I think is fine, but you're gonna get unfollowers there. So do you guys think that there's a ratio there? That
I don't
maybe
think I just want to chime in because sorry, just muted myself twice. You got to not overthink it. It's again the consistency piece. Like especially as somebody who's not posting, like don't think it's ever late, but you got to start getting visual. And I think Bruce talked something I think some people probably might be went over their head as far as ads and all that. And that could be a different topic, like running ads, and Bruce can maybe run through like, what does he do as far as creating that, which could be a good, let's write that down. That'll be great. But I think like start posting. I mean, there's so many ways to go to, but like for me, I have topics. I'll go to ChatGPT and just search, give me 100 topics that I can talk about with my buyers and sellers, make it, relatable to the issues they're dealing with. And then you take each topic and you can put it back in ChatGPT, like give me a Facebook status on it. Like if you don't want to do videos, like today I posted a picture of one of my, just picture of me. And then I talked about how, what we do for our sellers and how a lot of them put bad upgrades in their house that they don't get return on their investment. Simple post, but it's getting traction. And it's, again, a little hand raiser that people are seeing I'm in the business. I try to post videos as much as I can. And there's multiple ways you can do videos. You can do videos where educational, you put a camera in front of you, have a script ready, and then you just, try to get as many as you can. You can do like, I started doing this a lot more lately. It's like real conversations with clients, talking, negotiating over the phone, driving and calling your clients, telling their offer got accepted, but you have to have camera with you to kind of capture those moments. But I think, the perfect, you got to kind of like write out what does that week look like and block it in your calendar, what you want to post and when. If you start at least, you don't have to post 5 times a day, but maybe 2 times a week. And what does that look like? Are you posting every Tuesday and Friday? What are you posting about? Maybe for Tuesdays is educational something. Friday can be like something local, like right here, 5 things to do in Woodbury, Minnesota, this month or whatever it is. But you got to create that cadence calendar, and it could be monthly thing, right? Maybe first end of the month, you're talking about things to do for February. But if it's not in your calendar, I don't think you're gonna do it. I do it more in a free flow now because I'm just been consistent. But I think ChatGPT should be your best friend if you don't know what to post about. If you don't have to overthink, the scripts, and simplify it. People don't want to sit and hear you talk for 3-5 minutes. Quick 1-minute tip, quick 1-minute highlight, whatever it is. Now that could be a different topic where you can talk about email marketing. That could be a little bit longer forms, things like that, where you guys can talk on YouTube. The other things too, like a lot of times you can use, like the social media post I did, I used it as an email to my database as well. It was very similar. So you can do multi-channels of the same thing. So, but I would, I think for a lot of you who are not doing, like, what are some things maybe you're struggling with, or you're like, I think maybe Joy, you can maybe ask better question, but I think social media is hard for a lot of people and being consistent with it is hard. But what are you struggling with in terms of maybe you want to get a cadence in calendar or anything else?
Well, okay, let me chime in on that, because I went to a thing called the top 10 trends of social media, and I think it was a week or 2 ago, and you just chimed in on something, because I do think it's easy to overthink, for sure. And what they talked about as one of the top 10 trends is, to get organic reach, to get just people noticing your stuff, the more real you are and the more non-polished, that's where the overthinking comes in. Like, I put a book in there, Day Trading Attention by Gary Vaynerchuk. It's his recent book, and he talks about it in there of just being like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing during the day? Just post your crappy pictures, your crappy videos, all that kind of stuff. That's a really easy thing to do. And it all boils down to overthinking. And so I do think that, balancing the personal and the professional. If you're going to show homes, take a photo of you showing the home, like, get it out there. Because are there people on this call that are really terrified of social media, or almost don't do any social media? I'm curious.
Terrified.
Bruce, you're terrified of
Yeah,
it?
you
Terrified
can't
to
hide
do
your
it.
you can't.
So why? What are you terrified about, Bruce?
I just I don't know. It's like to me, it's like getting in front of a camera, right? There's some of us that are not good in front of the camera, and I feel like social media is that same way, but I realize that I've got to be there, right? And I've got a personal account and a business account, and people expect business posts on my business account. Now, when I first started, we were posting funny stuff about our real estate, like behind the scenes on our personal account. And that, I think, to Bob's point, that's what made real estate for us real in their eyes on our personal page. So that was kind of cool. It was a little easy in, but yeah, it's not, guys, just because we do it, and some of the agents out there have VAs that do it for them. They've gotten past it, but a lot of us that are doing this at a high level, we're not marketers. We're not super comfortable with it. Damian is very comfortable with it, and I just do it because I have to.
I think Bruce, you hit the point because you have to, like, there's things I do that I don't like. Bruce might be better than me, but I know it's part of the game plan that I need to do. I mean, we're not in a business, like you kind of like, somebody mentioned one of the masterminds I was in, it's like, okay, what, if you have kids or, you know, and because you're not posting and you could have made extra 50 grand for your family and you know, you look them in the eye, like, who are you really doing this for? Who cares what people think of you? What I care about is that maybe for my kid, I have a college fund getting ready. Probably, hopefully he'll follow my footsteps and not do the college, but, you know, that's what really matters. That's how you kind of start thinking about it. And I used to be very, very self-conscious about videos I made. If you go back to my videos in 2019, I used to like, and now you have so many more tools as far as teleprompter, things like that. But I would try to memorize a 2-3 minute script so it came out perfect. And you could tell it wasn't natural. I was talking not natural. And you know, you can just, now what I'm doing, I'm just talking. People like that more of like, again, they connect, I think, more, even if you screw up, where you're not trying to be so scripted, things like that. So a lot of times here's a simple thing you can do is put a phone in front of you and let's say you want to, maybe you have a script written, maybe read it a couple times and then just talk and say, hey, here's 3 things that I'm doing for my clients right now to get their house ready for spring. And you know, last one is going to be probably the best one that helps them increase, you know, their home value. The first one is, you know, we do a home upgrade consultation. This is where we walk through the property, look at the things they can do to increase your home value. And anyway, you got kind of get the point. Now I might have said throughout maybe I needed to pause to go to the second one. Later, you have a 2-minute video, put it in the apps like CapCut, things like that, and cut out the pauses. And then you turn a 2-minute video into 1 minute, and it's more natural, but you're also cutting out the parts where you might have screwed up. Like a lot of times I'm in my car driving, I have a little camera cut. It's called DJI Mini Pocket. So if you want to invest in something and start recording yourself, it's called DJI Mini Pocket. You can like buy a thing to hang it on your window, and you can directly take stuff through Bluetooth. So if you record it yourself, you can open up your phone and right away see the video, which is really convenient. But again, when I'm driving, I might just stop. I'm thinking like, what can I tell people? Or maybe it's a story that a win that recently happened. I'll start talking about, and then I remove any parts where I maybe didn't want to use, but still got the whole story together. Again, you guys can go on my pages. You can see how a lot of those videos, they're not 30 seconds. They might've been 2 minutes, and then I cut them up. But you don't have to.
Yeah, man, let me chat about this quick because we're talking about 2 things too. One is content creation. The other that we even started the conversation with is generating leads. And I think what's key about that is converting engagement. And I think where a lot of people fail is we create content and then we don't engage with the people that actually like and comment on the content. That's where we fail because that's where the leads are. So Bob, when you were asking like how are people doing this, is in actually day trading attention, he talks about the #1 strategy that like Gary V used is he made it where he's going to comment on other people's comments 100 times a day. So what he's doing is he's going on, for example, you want engagement. That's the whole point of generating leads. I mean, Bruce, you talked about paying for leads. Awesome. But if you're going to put a piece of content out there, great. But if you're not going to actually reach out to the people that have liked it or commented on it, that is where the massive opportunity to actually generate leads. Because how many of you guys have actually like put out content and then you don't do anything with it? Because that's a perfect thing. Karen, you had talked about the social media interns. That I think that what's huge about that is that they can even do some of the engagement. Because Karen, have you had people or the interns like help with the actual engagement versus the posting?
We do. They like and comment on, so they're active as Carriage Realty, then we don't have to be. There is a little bit of a training involved, but we always hire 2 interns every summer. At least one of them usually works out and then carries on through the school year. So if you hire someone who's maybe a senior, then they go off to college. It's a remote job that is amazing. And I just found out that our social media intern, one of them, will be continuing on for next summer. So the training time is limited. in Stillwater, there's a production studio with the high school. So we can even take videos. Our agents who have no clue how to, maybe they can take video on site, but then we can give them to the interns for them to splice them together and post them. So it's taking a lot off our plate. But yes, they do have to do both, engage on our behalf and post for us.
I love this
that.
because it's
Awesome.
twofold, right? You're helping out the
Mhm.
intern, like you're helping them
Mhm.
on things that they're interested in, and you get the benefit of taking it off your plate. That's awesome.
Well, and you know what, Karen, I just want to chime in that I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old. You know what? Like, I actually just, you know what's so funny is I just pitched to my 13-year-old. He hasn't taken me up on it yet, but I said, hey man, when I go to an open house, I'll just give you like $10 an hour just to video a bunch and then edit it and then post it out there. But remember, again, one is content, and then again, that's why I wanted to chime in, Karen, on the engagement, because if you're not commenting, because here's a very simple strategy. Think about this. How many people you could go into any one of your social media posts, okay? And then see who liked it, okay?
Mhm.
And then reach out to them and be like, I mean, I've even tagged people and been like, hey, at Karen, thanks for liking my post. What was it that you liked so much about it? Or like Facebook message them and be like, hey, Karen, thanks for liking my post. How are you? What are you doing these days? Oh, you had your downside, you know, whatever. That's where the juice is, where you can get it's free. And again, I'm not downplaying Bruce's the ads. I think that's great for targeting, but the free stuff is what social media was created for in the beginning, is to actually tighten up your own network, if that makes sense. And so I think Karen, you're hitting it home. Who else has I'm just curious, who else on here has either heard of something or is doing something, because you maybe you just heard of it, of a cool idea that someone's doing out there social media. And I'm just gonna throw out a couple names like Viet, Lisa, Jennifer, Connie, anybody. But is there anybody that has heard of anything or out there?
Joey, this isn't like cool, but it's basic 101, right? It's all about our database and our sphere and staying in front of those people. So just coaching with agents in the past, are you breaking down your A, B, and C sphere and actually creating a target list in Facebook? Because what happens with a lot of agents, I think it's just other agents seeing your stuff. So do you have a very targeted list with people who already know, like, and trust you and want to work with you, that you're actually using the list to get those out? Is anybody having success with that or doing that?
I have a company in Wailopo that they retarget anybody, past clients, current clients. Bruce knows. So if you have a retargeting budget, they do it for you automatically. They run Facebook ads for you. I don't even get involved in it. But again, this is that next step. If you're, you have to really commit to a system. I, again, want to kind of finalize my thought on posting. There is no direct ROI for you posting, but if you have a 2,000, 3,000 friends, even 1,000, these are people going to see you every day. And if you're not posting, it's going to be somebody else posting. I can't tell you how many times I get messages throughout the year. People like, hey, Damian, we're thinking about X, Y, and Z. And these are people from my high school, people who I went, to college with. And I know for a fact, if I wasn't posting, they wouldn't be thinking of me. So I know there's I would say a big correlation. Like right now, I went to an appointment. It's going to be 500,000 Apple Valley house. They're building for 800. And the reason I know that from social media, because all of a sudden randomly, they starting to like my posts here and there. They were completely quiet for me. And I know they're starting to notice. And so I kind of right away had that gut feeling when one of the wife liked it, they're probably going to reach out. And I've had this happen over and over. So that's why, again, can you commit, and the word is commit, to 2 to 3 posts a week? That's where I think it's doable, reasonable. You don't have to, and then not everyone has to be a video. Video is for sure up there with what people are going to resonate and watch you and see your personality. But I started including just statuses and just really putting great copywriting on it. And people are reading it. Put a good picture with it. It could be of yourself. Go get a branding shoot, spend $200, get 300 pictures of you, and start posting them, as you're sharing little bit advice or different things like that.
And,
you don't
and
have
here's
to overcomplicate it.
And here's a very simple, Karen, you're hitting some value bombs here, and I just love it so much. Because one of the things that I think is a huge opportunity and a very easy, I don't know if Karen's still on here, I don't see her, but that doesn't mean anything. So a very easy post is just the share button. You know, like all your vendors, all your businesses that are on Facebook and the pages, you just click the share button and then do a little saying, hey, like my painter created a new logo and he posted his logo and said, hey, here's my logo. It's like, what an easy post to be like, share, and then just write a little thing like, hey, here's an awesome, it's coming from contribution, right? And it's like, here's an awesome painter if anybody needs it, right? It's just building that tight network. And so if Karen's comment was target other businesses and support them, I think that's huge. And is Karen still on here? Where is she? She gone? Dang it. But I think that's a huge opportunity. And I want to go back to, oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was
Kelly.
just gonna say, I think the key is just consistency and have fun with it, right? So like Damon said, 2-3 times a week, if you can commit, time block that in. It's so easy, you guys, just time block it in, whether you're time blocking in your follow-ups, like Joey was saying, engagement, throw your post out there once a day and then time block time to go back in and just engage with the people who engaged with your post. But just consistency is it.
Well, because the
I'll
point
jump in.
of, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Sorry, Joey.
Go ahead.
I do a lot of our social media for Anne, and so I thought I would, a couple of things that work really well for us is I think just talking about your day-to-day stuff. People just like to see what you're doing. Like that's where we get a lot of engagement, and not even so much on the app, but like outside. So like I go to hockey and people are like, oh my gosh, I saw that. So like, even though they're not engaging with you on the actual app, I think, you know, if you're just kind of sharing what you're doing, whether it's personal, I think it should be a really good mix of both, because they want to know you and they want to know what's going on and where are you going. And people just like that. It's like comfort content. People just like to see what's going on.
Yep.
And then something that's working really well for us right now is a Valentine giveaway. We're getting a ton of engagement on that. So we have a ton of people to follow up with from that. And so I think those are two big things. Stories, I think stories are huge because that's where people are watching the most. They go onto Instagram and they start going down their stories. And so that's where they're going to kind of see a lot of you and like what you're doing day to day.
Can you talk about, thank you, by the way, that is awesome. Can you talk about the Valentine giveaway? What does that look like? Or is that proprietary? I'm just kidding. This is a mastermind. You have to share.
Our Valentine giveaway is, we are doing a giveaway for for 2 people at Manger Restaurant in Bayport at the Chef's Counter. It's a Chef's Counter experience. So it's for 2, they will get dinner at the counter, wine. And so we're having people, they have to follow Anne's page, our business page. They have to tag who they'd bring. And what was the other thing?
I think just like the post.
Just like the post. Yeah. So, we're getting a really good response from that. And people are asking me about it when I see them out in the real world too. So
I love that. Well, when you just talked about the real world, isn't that the true strategy boils down to doing things that turn into in real life, right? Because social media is all fine and dandy, but it's like, if you're not, that's why I love if you're doing this giveaway, like that's almost forcing an in real life. Cause it's like, well, you have to give this prize to them. And that means you have to meet them. So I think that's such a good way to do it. So thank you I think that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
Hey, Joey, can I jump in here real quick?
Yeah, do it.
All right, awesome. This is for Damon and also Kelly, because I follow both you guys. And if talking to the agent who's just getting started doing some social media piece, obviously you guys are probably using Instagram as kind of your main source. Is that true there? Okay. And are you guys doing your own video edits? And if so, is there a really easy, cool tool you guys are using for your editing?
We use WeVideo
Or
when
CapCut.
we edit our own. It's just WE video. It's pretty slick.
And CapCut too, Damien mentioned that. I've used that too. So
yeah, we use I have CapCut. I don't use it a ton. We have my brother who does a lot of our videography stuff. So he helps me, put together some stuff. Otherwise, I honestly, just for like reels of, like I did one last week of our new listing that's, active tomorrow. I just did a quick walkthrough and I just kind of spliced it together within Instagram for something quick like that. And those get a lot of It's not super polished or anything. It's just a quick tour, but people like that.
Yeah, and Bob, it's funny though. One of the trends was the less edited, the better. In
Yeah.
a way. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't do some splicing, but they were talking about a lot of bigger companies, huge companies, Best Buy, Walmart, or whatever. They're actually getting more traction from their super crappy like videos that are not super duper produced because people want real. They don't want like oh, that's just a fake like kind of marketing message. So that's why when Ann, even when you brought up the stories, I think that's huge, right? Like because that's just kind of like more organic and like more real and more kind of uncut, unhinged a little bit like that. I think that's a big deal.
Like Damien had a great one. Remember, I mean, I think Ann brought it up on our last call. He was in the car, he was calling his client, like, hey, we got the offer accepted. I mean, that's just like real time, real happening. There's no editing and faking that, right? I mean, that's the cool part of the job that people like to see.
Yeah.
I think that's key, right? Because you're not going to have an intern in your car with you. You're not going to have a videographer in your car with you. So Damon gave some, DJI mini pocket or what have you. So in that particular case, Damon, what did you have to do to get that thing out to the social media world? Explain that process.
Very easy. So again, I would just suggest, like, if you want to start putting out that behind the scenes, which I think are probably the best content, because think about how many interactions you're having throughout the day. Like in the morning, if you're making phone calls, how many leads did you maybe even converted or had a great, like where you could take a snippet and show you're skillful, you understand the concept. I've done it before and even that. But like even showing a house, hey, part of my day, whatever. But that specific conversation, and I've done different. I've done it where at my house, I recorded a call where it was in the car. I turned on the camera. It was shooting when I was calling, right? So once the video was done, that call might have been 10 minutes. I didn't need the whole call. I only included the exciting part in first where I congratulate him. And then maybe towards the end, took a little bit. But once what I did is I took it up, I put the video on my phone, which is through Bluetooth. I can just download it right away. Then I edited out the pieces that I need. Now you can use CapCut. I have a app on my phone. It's called Wondershare Filmora. It's like $50 a year. It's just like high level editing as far as videos and everything goes. I've just YouTubed how to do things on it. So now I've just been consistently like editing my stuff in there. But all I did is I chopped it up. It's a little bit faster than would be doing on my phone. And then I go to Captions app. And the Captions app is where I can do zooms, I can put captions. That's probably one I use more than anything, captions. And you can do a lot of stuff through there. And then once the captions was done, post it. But it's really just getting the video, cutting down, removing the long boring stuffs. You want to show the exciting right away. And a lot of them are just curious to see what happens when you start having that phone call, whether you're negotiating something. But again, timing wise, if I had to say, time that it took, I clicked the record button and then I stopped record. So 10 seconds of that, but obviously conversation was natural. It was just recording, editing 10 minutes to get that part that I needed to be on captions and post it. And sometimes I'll just record a bunch of stuff as I'm driving. If I do that DJI gimbal, DJI mini pocket, I'll have it recorded. I might do 3 things and just share 3 different stories. I'm thinking about like what happened in my week. So one was, for example, we got an offer accepted by bumping out that contingent offer. So that was a great way to explain how, houses that might not be available on the contract, you can still come in. And I kind of shared the story to what we did to get there. I mean, just if you think about your last week, what did you do? What are some wins? What are some like losses? I might do a video how I almost lost the listing appointment because I didn't reply in time. Like, it's just because literally seller got pissed. He's like, this just shows your first impression. I called, I owned it up, I apologize, but that would be a great one. Like, here's how I almost lost the potential deal, right? People are going to be curious and explain how we're not perfect.
Better than just listed or, hey, I just
if you notice, I used to do a lot of just listed, just sold. I almost stopped doing it. Besides, I still post just listed, but I'm no longer doing just sold. Like I used to always be like, I need to post that I sold it. I don't think people care. If you look back on my Instagram now, like I stopped posting just solds. I'm just, again, posting success stories, posting failures, posting engagement, just different things. And I think, and it's easier to do it. You don't have to overthink. Like you can, I used to like try to think all these new scripts all these different things. I'm just being me. And I, by the way, guys, I'm not gaining like 1,000,000 views or anything, but I'm consistent. And for me, what I care is my sphere is going to reach out to me. I know there's people who are looking for new people who might like the reel or go viral. For me, I have pretty solid sphere that I want constantly seeing my stuff and then potentially reach out to me. That's why I care more, you know, and yeah, would it be fun to go viral and get 10 leads or something like that? That's not my strategy. My strategy to be consistent. So my sphere, and then when I have that video, you guys, by the way, you can send it then through email marketing to your database who's not on social media. So you can keep kind of like, and it's so easy to do. Or you can
What
take
was that
a
editor
script from
again?
the
Damon, what was the
it's
editor
called
you were using?
Wondershare Filmora. It's just an app on your computer you download. It's like $50 a year, but you can do, you know, thoughts. You can do speed ramps for if you're doing house tours. You can even add captions on there. But I found that, you know, you can adjust. I don't know. I can even share my screen here. I'll show you what it looks like quickly. I know it's a different topic, but here, give me a second here. I'll share.
Well, I think it's important for us, for those of us who aren't doing it, to realize that it's not that hard to do. Because I think a lot of us, me included, get in our heads with, okay, it's going to take this. You know, then a day goes by, another day goes by, another day goes by. Let's just sold, blah, blah, blah. So this is helpful
Well, and I think
for me and hopefully other people.
for video, that's video, but like you can do, you know, your static post, just think about how you're doing it, right? Like instead of like, hey, just closed and you take a picture with the people holding the sold sign, how about tell their story, right? It's not about like, hey, I just closed my 10th listing or my 10th sale. It could be, hey, you know, Bob and Sue moved from Texas and they were, you know, they didn't know anybody in the area and we were able to find them the house of their dreams and connect them with, you know, the best schools or, you know, whatever. You tell the story, not the fact that you just sold another home, right? So you can be more real in all of your posts.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And you know what? One of the untapped potentials, I mean, I know we talked a lot about Instagram and Facebook, but if you notice, I posted the top 10 trends picture that was from that presentation. But they said that one of the most untapped potential for leads and engagement is LinkedIn. And there was like 2 or 3 of the trends on there is all about LinkedIn. And they talked about the LinkedIn, they specifically talked about actually LinkedIn, Substack, and Reddit. Because a lot of people are starting to get away from meta type of things, Facebook and Instagram. Still got billions of users, but they're starting to look for other things that have more engagement. The LinkedIn newsletter, they said, is huge. And here's why. When you do a LinkedIn newsletter, it actually goes to their email, their notifications, and then their news feed. So a LinkedIn newsletter actually pings your connections 3 ways. And so they said how huge that is to do a LinkedIn newsletter. And I started looking into it. I was like, whoa. And they were talking about the engagement that people are getting on those is huge. So I just want to make sure that a couple platforms.
Have you done it yet, Joey, or know how to like send the newsletter out?
Yeah, when you go to LinkedIn and you go to write an article, there's so you go to write an article, the article will pop up. You go to the options and it says start a newsletter. And then you basically, you're creating like the title of the newsletter, how often you want to do it. But they were just saying that because of all of the noise, the LinkedIn newsletter actually hits people a couple different ways. And so it's huge. And then check out, and we're going to kind of probably move on quick and try to shift topics, but check out Substack and Reddit if you haven't, because the engagement on both of those platforms is like hockey stick skyrocketing. And remember, with leads, you're looking for, if you want to get business from this, it boils down to engagement. And so if you're not getting a lot of engagement because of the algorithms on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, lean into maybe checking out a couple of these other platforms. So, okay, I think, you know what? Well,
Joey?
actually, yeah, and go. Yeah, we're not going to switch.
Yeah.
You do it. I saw your hand.
Yes, if anybody wants to jump in, like just go like this, because
Yeah, do this.
I don't have much
use
of
the
a
raise your
voice.
hand thing. Raise your hand thing.
How
But
can
you're
you find that thing? I don't even know where that thing is. But anyway, I was going to ask so many questions that now they're gone. But one is what are people doing on Reddit? for real estate?
They were okay. So the Reddit was really interesting because Reddit does a really, really good job at the community piece. So they have different topics, and
Okay.
it's more specific towards topics versus just everybody. Facebook, you do a post, their algorithm decides whether your post is seen or not. Whereas Reddit, when you join a community, let's say in real estate investing, right? It's everybody that wants to be an expert and talk about real estate investing. And so there's way more engagement, and Reddit is doing a very, very good job at that. And they had said that a lot of bigger organizations are starting to lean in on Reddit, mostly because the Instagram and Facebook algorithm is hard to kind of like keep track and have your stuff seen. And so, does that make sense?
Yep, that's interesting because when I've been just recently when I've been like, I don't know, Googling topics, not necessarily real estate, Reddit comes up a lot.
Yeah.
And there does seem to be a lot of good information on Reddit. So I think that's a really good thing to explore for our businesses and our that's
a lot of engagement. Because think about it. They probably have your like all the different cities, there's probably a Reddit page. Like I live in Shoreview. I should be on the Shoreview Reddit page, like everything about Shoreview, right? Like I mean, so then you're actually talking about real specific things and interacting and engaging with people, if that makes sense.
Like that.
Yeah.
Where else
Cheryl.
are people going to from Facebook and Instagram?
You cut out there. What'd you say, Cheryl? The first part.
Where else are people going to from Facebook? I think people are leaving those platforms. Where else besides Reddit are they going, and where else should we be?
Yeah.
A lot of traction with Blue Sky. Blue Sky's users have gone up significantly. And I've seen a lot more. They talked about Blue Sky actually. The two platforms that have the highest increase in not membership or whatever, people logging on is Blue Sky and Substack. And so those are the two platforms because a lot of people are Meta's, again, when you're talking about the algorithms, it's really tough to track. So look at those two platforms. Blue Sky looks very similar to what Facebook was like years ago, meaning it's just like it's not as many ads and stuff like that. And so I think that's why probably a lot of people are going that way.
You guys, on to Cheryl's question, you have your big ones, obviously, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok. One thing is like, you guys, you don't have to be on all those 5 platforms. Focus, like, just really simplify for everybody. Where do you have the most people who are like, for me, I have probably, Facebook, Instagram, that's my bread and butter. That's why I have the most followers. If you start thinking about, and this is nothing against, Reddit or this, whatever. At first time I heard the blue thing, if you guys, that now you have to worry about 10 different things if you're trying to be everywhere. And there are platforms, repurpose.io. It's an AI thing. If you wanted to post one post to all at once, like check that out. But I wouldn't like overcomplicate it and start kind of, focus on one thing and then, whatever posting from there. But I think top ones that where you always have people is gonna be Facebook, Instagram. I don't, and maybe your community, your database may be a little bit different, but I would really focus on, if it was me, and that's what I'm gonna keep on. YouTube is huge, and I'm having trouble to kind of gain traction on it. Everything I watch is like the best leads you can get. And I think, Anne, do you post on YouTube? If you're not, you should, because you have such a good, topics about Stillwater, which people who are moving to Stillwater, you probably will start popping up more and more. I'm kind of everywhere. Like, I should probably focus on one city because I'm like from South to East Metro. But if you hone in on one city, that's where I see a lot of people, like I hear stories where they're getting, once their channel gets going, they're getting like 200 plus organic leads who are like, hey, I want to work with you. So I think if there's something you want to get at, I would do YouTube. It's just like, again, I have so many things. I'm like, I'm trying to stay narrow with what's working. So YouTube's been my goal, but I just don't have, I think, enough time to really do those local posts on what, local communities, different things. But that's where I see huge people who are focusing on communities versus like tips really true on community. Like, here's what to do in Stillwater, Minnesota. Here's the best, couple neighborhoods, and you go through those neighborhoods. Like, that's where I think is really untapped, but where a lot of money is in YouTube.
Well, and you know what? Number 8 on the top 10 was literally community engagement becomes a superpower. I have more fun on my Shoreview community Facebook page than ever, because all I'm doing is everybody that posts on there, I comment and try to help. And it's actually like it's real stuff. It has nothing to do with real estate. There's people some is though. There's people looking for rentals. So I'll go on the MLS rental thing, or I'll post a Zillow rental or whatever. Like, you're right on the community.
You're a problem solver.
Yes, a problem solver. If you really want to win and get leads, focus on your hyper-local different communities, the Facebook communities or the Facebook groups. Because again, the hardest part with anything, any meta, which Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp, is you can't control what they do with your content, right? Because you post it, whether it goes up or down, you don't know. But if you comment on someone's Facebook comment on the Oakdale community page because you live in Oakdale, they're gonna see it. If they say, I'm looking for my dog, and you're like, hey, you know what? I don't know where your dog is, but I will keep an eye out. That person will see that. And then that helps no matter what, right? So you gotta just keep that in mind for that engagement. So Damien, I just think that's a huge piece to what you said there, because that community engagement is really a superpower if you lean into it. So
I think to community, and you guys make sure you're in your neighborhood Facebook groups, like for example, Woodbury neighbors, things like that. Like, find those areas. And well, one, people post here and there, I need an agent, but in general, if you start contributing more and more, people will notice, like Joy said, or in your own neighborhood, right? Like, if you have a specific neighborhood group, you should be active in it all the time, because it's easy opportunity. One, you're going to keep showing up. Next time you send a mailer through the neighborhood, your face is there again, and that could be a whole different topic, obviously, on like the neighborhood farming, things like that. But I know I try to, as much as I can, if somebody comments, hey, I need a painter, post in there. Because more than likely, they'll be like, who is this commenting? They'll probably look you up. And if you have a good presence as far as your page, make sure you have them the right setup as well. It shows who you are, that you're in real estate, whatever it is. But that's, again, another easy way to just, like, somebody makes a post, engage, you guys all have great resources for contractors, whatever it is. But Facebook groups are another. I've gotten quite a few referrals throughout the years from Facebook groups, but also found sellers in the neighborhood, in the area, because they posted there. So
I was gonna say too, I was just gonna say, we have agents in our group that have had great success with drumming up leads based on your personal passions as well. So we talk a lot about the business side of things, but whether it's you're a single mom or you love downhill skiing or snowmobiling, whatever that may be, find those communities, because then those people are like, hey, this person's cool. They like what I do too. And you start engagement there as well. So don't underestimate your personal life. Fun stuff.
And I heard this a while back that from some social media class, that it should be 80-20, 80% personal, 20% business. Because again, if you go too much business, again, I want to go back to that unfollow. That unfollow is so easy, and then they're not going to see any of your stuff. So do not forget about the personal side. And by the way, I do want to say that I love the fact that I tried to change the topic, and you're like, no, we're not changing the topic. We're going to stay on this. But obviously, this is good stuff, and we're leaning in. So we got 7 minutes left. I want to open it up for more questions. We're not going to switch topics. Cheryl, go.
I have another question. How much do you share your business page posts to your personal pages? So
Carol, that is a great question. And that's one of the things I was trying to get out in this conversation, is the business page versus the personal on Facebook. That's a thing. So that's a great question.
I have business one, and it's just me. I mean, everybody might be doing it differently. I just post everything everywhere. Same video will be on my business, on my personal, on my LinkedIn, on my YouTube, everything. Because business page, it's just, they want you to spend money on ads. That's just what I've noticed. And, like, if you just post it there, you might not get as much views versus as your personal. So I kind of just post everywhere, and my personal still has the same post that I would done in my business. Again, that's just me. Like, and keep in mind, a lot of people, like, you're not gonna show up on everybody's, unless the people who love on you, you're gonna always show up top. But a lot of people might never see your posts. Like, that's why I'm like, I just posted. And again, I'm not an expert on this specific thing to where you might get, but I figured if I post on business and I post on my personal, I think you'll have more engagement with your personal sphere if you post it from your personal account.
You know, and I think, Cheryl, one of the things you can do is, I mean, I think the algorithm is very smart. So like if you're sharing your own business page's content, it's probably not going to get a ton of traction. But if your friends and your clients, right, like what a cool way to actually get engagement is call your clients and be like, hey, by the way, I posted your listing on my business page. Can you share it with your network? Boom. That's a little different. Because again, I'm pretty sure all the stuff that I've shared from my business page on my personal gets very little traction. Because the algorithm is like, well, you're sharing your own stuff, right? Like it's like, no. But if you get other people to share it, like us, different colleagues, right? Like, how fun is that? Like if I share Damien's post or Bob's post and been like, hey, look at this. Hey, Bob, look, or hey, my network, look at Bob's awesome new listing. That's going to, from his Facebook post, that's a lot. I think that's going to get a lot more traction, you know. That's just an idea on there. So any other, okay, so we got 5 more minutes left and we can hang tight a little bit afterwards, but those are
Matt's
really good.
got a
Ann,
question.
did you have a question?
Well,
Matt's
let
got a question.
Oh no, Matt did.
Yeah, it's not a question. I just want to share something with you guys. I think everybody on this panel would relate to that. Yeah, yesterday I was talking to someone who was kind of claims he's been an expert in social media, and one thing he told me, he said, Matt, if you cannot pick up your phone, take a video of yourself sharing whatever, sharing the fact that you miss your son, sharing that you have this problem, sharing that, said you have not understood social media. It's not about real estate. It's not about your business. It's not about your goal. It's not about lead generation. It's about people connecting to you, people relating to you. Once they start following you, one of the subjects could be, and I told him, I said, that's my biggest barrier. Typically in my personal life, I'm very private. And, that my biggest challenge is, like we're talking about, getting in front of camera and sharing things and I'm like judging other people. Hey, if you go to on TikTok or Facebook or whatever, you scratch your head some of the post people they make. And then you're like 60,000 hits, 1 million follower. We're like, really? And he told me, he said, you need to get out of your own head, because it's not about that. It's not about your judgment. It's not about, so, and personally that
Hey
has
guys,
been, I'm
starting
working
off my
hard on
Monday
that.
with a super duper.
Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, personally, that has been my biggest challenge, which I'm working hard on it. I've recorded some videos. I haven't yet posted them yet because of that issue. So I think that's
Awesome.
something that everybody can relate to it. And, if you can, flip a pancake and while you're videoing it, you think like, who's going to watch that? But you'll be amazed.
You know what, Matt? First of all, this is such a good way. Gosh, I just love that you said this. Thank you so much at the end, because it's so good that the intent of social media is and generating leads is through connection, right? And you said it. You said that. And so I think that is a huge piece, because if people can relate to you and they want to connect, the rest comes easy. And I do notice that a lot of stuff, a lot of the traction I've gotten on some of my posts have been some of my most vulnerable posts. That's what's hilarious, is some of my videos that actually get thousands of views are usually the ones that are just something totally unrelated to real estate. And then there's people reaching out and it's like, oh my gosh. I think one of my #1 views on a video was a slow motion video of me doing an ollie on a skateboard. And I'm like, it was like 10 seconds long. And I'm like, how is this even possible? So again, you're talking about connection, Matt, and I think you just really hit it on the head. So now I really want to, when you do get one of your videos out, I think we should all collaborate and share Matt's post. You got to just tag some of us. So now I don't know if we don't have to do that, but if you want us to do that, I think we should.
No, I don't know. I ever posted. I'm just joking.
Well, no, but once you do post, I just think once we'll see that video, if you have a lot of these videos, now we have a reason to share. I think it's amazing.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like I have been preparing for that. Like, Bob was asking questions, getting into what software I can use, what tools, what stand, what lighting and all that. And that's another element of, we kind of go through all these detail that we are supposed to do when we are not doing the main thing.
Yeah.
And that's another barrier for people that, just pick one platform, whatever it is, Facebook, whatever, TikTok, Instagram, whatever. And then, but we're already talking about what else, where else, so technicality and all those details are another barrier that we put in front of ourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Joey, I want to jump in
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead.
about Ann and Cheryl's comment regarding that 80-20 rule. You guys know I'm terrible on the social media side, but this came back from one of the conferences that we actually just attended with Glover U. Is your business page and your personal page. A lot of people are saying, hey, trash kind of, or let go of your personal page. They're coming back and they're saying, actually keep it. Okay. They're keeping it, but the content that you're putting on both sides of your personal and your business page is really a website. That's all it is at this point. It's your website, your personal branding, right? On a professional level. Every other content should be layered on that 80-20 rule of personal and business on your personal page. So I just want to share that.
I love that, Viet. Thank you. Well, you guys, this is amazing. I know it's 11 o'clock. I do want to just talk next week. We might, here's the thing. We didn't get into price reductions. I do think that's a great topic. Next week, maybe we'll just toss that one in there and either do it, or next week's topics were essential tech tools for every real estate agent, which we talked a lot about them. I think there's probably more. Leveraging ChatGPT for real estate success. I think that's huge. And then ultimate checklist for buyer and seller transactions. So those are some options. Maybe we go price reductions and negotiating with our own clients. We'll hit it up. So thank you guys so much for joining in. Really, really appreciate all of you guys. And I'll hang tight for a few minutes for anybody that wants to stick around. But I just want to say thank you, and we'll see everybody next week.
Great job, Joey. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Joey.
you.
You rock.
Thanks, Joey.
Thanks a lot, Joey.
Who's left?
Are we chatting after? I didn't know if we were.
I don't know if we are or not.
I missed it last time.
I think Angela, so maybe not.
I cut out last time. I cut out early. I cut out right at 11 last time, and then somebody's like, "Hey, you were supposed to hang out for 15 minutes afterwards." I'm like, "Oh shoot."
Oh yeah.
I'm here today.
Yeah.
I think 3 topics, you guys, is just a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the feedback I think we've all
I
gotten.
just don't feel we get deep enough in anything. Like today was awesome, right? Like, and you're gonna totally get the vibe if like it's a topic that's going nowhere and it's hanging dead. So we should always have like a backup. But kind of like we did today. And okay, well, we didn't get to topic 2 and 3. So let's bring that next week. Let's talk about the price reduction scripts. That might not take the whole hour, and then we can transition
Totally.
But
Well, because I think everybody was vibing on today. I mean, look at it. It was funny because Bruce, you had messaged me like, hey, maybe we should change. And then I was like, let's change topics. And then Ann, you're like, nope. And I was like, yes. So, I mean, that's kind of the point though. It's like, if we're talking about good stuff, like, I agree. I think we can do the same thing and say, hey, in the beginning, we have 3 topics here, and just toss it out to the group and say, hey, who wants to do what? Like the way we did it. And it seemed like social media was a big win.
well, especially we get into AI or technology, there is no way that that's not going to take an entire hour. We're not going to be able to cover 3 topics when you get into stuff like that, So
I agree. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, by the way, I don't know. So I'm gone the next 2 weeks. So hopefully, we got to figure out the hosting thing. So Bruce, I don't
Yeah,
know if you want to.
I didn't get that. No, I saw Bob on the list as, remember this morning I asked and it had you listed as the host. So I'm not sure what that list was about then.
Well, I tried to host. This is so Bob, both me and Bob tried to host,
Yeah.
and it wasn't working. And so for whatever reason, we should figure that out so we don't get into a bind.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Yeah, so if you want to just let us know, because Bob, you did try to sign in as a host, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, and it must have said the same thing it said for me then.
Huh.
Well, we just got to figure out, like Bruce said, I think there's some confusion on moderator and host,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
And I get
and
it now. I think you defined it really nicely, Bruce. I think it's good to have, at first I was like, why isn't it the same person? But it makes sense to have two.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the host is just gonna open the meeting and admit people
And mute people, because you can mute people and
mute
you can.
people, yeah.
You're kind of like the
I'm-
admin. You're the admin of the call. Yeah.
Yep.
Manage the questions in the chat, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah. Well,
so
maybe
as
what
it
we
so
should-
as it's
Oh,
so
go
as
ahead,
it
Bob.
sits, we need to get you covered for next week because I think you were February moderator, right, Joey?
I was, yeah, and I had emailed Bruce when we were talking about like days we were gonna be gone and not do it. So yes, next week or the next 2 Mondays, actually, I'm in Mexico. So if you guys can just cover someone moderating, and I can put it in WhatsApp just to make sure someone has it.
Good idea.
Yeah, throw it in there and see if anybody raises their hand.
Yep.
We're around next week. We can moderate, or Bruce, you can moderate. You're good at
And I'm
letting
happy to
people
as
in and-
well.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, and I'll put it in WhatsApp, and I'm bummed to miss, but I'm not gonna work. So
I'm not following
No.
Joe.
Enjoy.
Go have fun. Lots of
Recharge.
pina coladas.
Recharge, baby. Recharge.
gotta do the recharge. So yeah, so thank you. I'll put it in WhatsApp, and thank you guys for the support and everything. I think we got some good vibe and good traction going so far. We'll keep it going.
I really do think we have to work to try to engage other people, right?
I know.
And I have to tell you something. It was really hard for me to speak. Like I could not get a word in.
Yeah.
So I
Okay,
don't.
so Ann, you gotta do that when you go down. Are you on your computer right now?
Yeah. Where's the
And maybe
hand
we
sign?
should do this in the beginning.
Yes.
But if you go to React, click on React. That's where raise hand is.
React. Oh, gotcha.
And then
So
it
when you
says
click
play
on-
chime. Yeah.
Okay.
Or
And then
put a question in the chat box, right? Or, you know, like, because the moderator will be watching the chat. And like Bruce said, hey, you know, Matt's got a question, right? So that's
Yes.
what the job of the moderator should be doing is like, hey, Ann threw a question in the chat. Does
Yes.
anybody have an answer for this, right? So
Yeah.
raise your hand or put your question in the chat. But those are like, I think the beginning, whoever's gonna be the moderator versus the host. I called Bruce the moderator. So if Bruce is the host and he's managing letting people
Yes.
in and he's managing the questions. The moderator is the one that really needs to just be the time pacer and the, you know, oh, hey, Ann's got her hand raised, you know,
Yep.
like just trying to reach out and engage other people. Cause
Yeah.
Totally agree. Because Ann, it was almost, you got to think, as our group grows, it will be impossible for the moderator to see
Yeah.
this.
Right.
So I told Kelly, I totally agree. Whoever's hosting, well, no, actually, the moderator in the beginning, though, I should have said, all right, everybody, listen, if you have a question, either raise your hand or post in the comments. And then whoever is the host, I'm going to put this in the WhatsApp.
But also tell how to raise the hand because I didn't know how to do that.
Yeah, no, I will. And maybe, and I'll just, we can do that quick. And then I'm going to post this in WhatsApp. And then the host is directly messaging the moderator to be like, hey, Ann's got a question. Don't skip her, you know, or whatever, because it's going to be way harder as we get to 50, 60, 70 people. That will be very difficult. So,
and I can be the host for the next couple of weeks. We're around for the next couple of weeks, and then we're gone for 2 or 3.
Okay. Good.
So that's
All
not
right.
an issue getting everybody in. It's just
I agree though. Run through the quick rules in the beginning. Hey guys, raise your hand. Here's how you do it. You hit the react button, raise your hand if you have a question, or throw the question in the chat. We'll be monitoring that. And then, you know, and again, we encourage everybody, you know, share like this is not going to be successful and we aren't going to grow if we aren't getting,
Other
you know, contribution from everybody, right?
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about? I hate doing it, but what do you guys think about calling people out? I hate calling people out.
No, I
but
love
like,
it.
Well, no, but I
Well,
mean, do you think saying like, "Oh, Connie, what do you think?" and then just sit there and be silent?
Yeah, put them, I don't have an issue putting somebody on the spot.
And what do you? And
Well, I got in so much trouble for calling out my sister-in-law that first week. She was like, "Don't ever do that again. I don't want to be." It's like, really, you're kidding? And she loves to talk, so
That's a
I
family
had no
thing.
idea that she wouldn't have wanted it.
well, you know
I
what
think
though?
here's the
It's
thing, though,
call a
Ann,
couple
like,
out. That's why I tried to do it. Remember when I called 3-4 people out.
Yep.
So you don't gotta really single them out. You could just be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, Bruce and Kelly, what do you guys think?"
or just don't do it in a call out way. Like when Kelly Sheffers, our friend from Michigan, was on, I said, hey, you know, Kelly's on here. She does a really great job with her open houses at her new construction. You know,
that was awesome.
And you
That
could
was awesome.
say, you could say, Kelly, I don't know if you want to share anything more than that, but you know, I just wanted to give you kudos. You do a great job.
Yeah,
Now,
that's a good way to do
jump
it.
in, right? We don't have to say, hey, can you jump on and tell us what you do? But
That
you
was
could
great.
point them out as doing something unique.
That was great. No, that was a great. And if you know someone on there, definitely do it that way. That was beautiful the way you did that. But if the moderator doesn't know anybody, I think if you call 2-3 people out, I think it's key to try to get more engagement. And the more people that come on, the more we'll get people that engage. There'll be
And
people
you can
that are
laugh
just
about it. You could be like, hey, Connie, what do you think? And if Connie was like daydreaming or whatever, you're like, hey, did you fall asleep during that? You know
Exactly.
what? You can kind of have fun with it.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and move on. You don't have to keep them on the spot forever.
No, totally.
Hey, Joey, when are you leaving? Are you
I
gonna be
leave
around this
Saturday.
week?
I leave Saturday morning.
So I'm gonna mess around with this login and I'll connect with you since you had a problem getting in. And then we'll just try to work it out.
We'll try to work it out. You can use me as the test subject, and we'll see, because all 5 of the people that are the hosts. That's why we did it that way. We definitely need, which I think it's all 5 of us, and then Ange and Damien.
Damon.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah. We all got to be able to sign in and host, because that's why we did that whole thing.
Right,
So I'll be the
absolutely.
test subject.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, kids.
All right, guys.
Good job today.
All right,
Yeah.
kids.
Okay,
All
bye,
right.
everybody.
Have a
Take
good
You
week.
guys. Yep. See you.